Hi everyone, and welcome back to Preshot Park Golf Club. So today's video we're going to be looking at 5 ways that you can improve your scores without changing your technique. So in these 5 ways we'll be going to be looking at things like the way you think, Preshot routines and ways to practice as well. So here's my 5 ways to help you improve your golf without changing your technique. So number 1, Preshot routine. So this is probably the most overlooked part of any pros element of what they do. So amateurs don't necessarily always follow a pre-shot routine, especially if they're playing the same course every week. So it's always worth following the same protocol every time you play a shot. So when I'm playing around Preshot Park, I play here a lot. I'm always making sure I'm checking the yardages, checking how far I've got to go to the flag, certainly off the tee as well, and not just always going for that 3-iron or that driver for every hole we play. So sometimes it's assessing just the wind, but it's then making a judgment on what club you need to get into the best situation. So my pre-shot routine would follow something like this. I've put my bag down, and from this point onwards everything I do is about assessing what the shot needs. So I'll check the wind, check the distance, which is 121 yards, wind conditions as far as direction and actual strength and how it's going to affect my ball, how the ball's lying, and then take a pre-shot routine based on all of the above. So 120 yards into the breeze, so it's playing about 123, 124. Ball slightly above my feet, which is going to make this ball want to move from right to left, but wind's also slightly off the left. This is going to hold this ball's line fairly straight for this shot. So I'm really, pins tucked on the right hand side, I'm really aiming towards the middle or right side of the green. I'm not going to take the flag on necessarily, because what I don't want is to short side myself on that right hand side. So I've got a clear plan about what I want to do, a clear target that I'm going to pick out next, and then execute my setup and pull the trigger. So practice swing, pick the target line, set up and pull the trigger. So number 2, thinking. Now, thinking can have a whole host of elements to it. It can be just thinking through the shot you want to play. It can be forward thinking, to think about where you want the ball to go for your next shot to be in a position you can attack the flag for, or it can just be positive thinking. So what you've always got to remember is when we stand here and we've got a choice over each shot, we can either choose to have a positive attitude towards it, or we can choose to allow the negative to come in. And a lot of that's just down to self-talk and the way you talk to yourself and the process you follow to get yourself in a position ready to hit this shot. We don't ever want to be standing over a ball where you're fearful of what could happen. Okay, you want to be standing there with a clear idea about what you want and what is going to happen. You're not always going to be right. We are going to have bad swings. We're going to have bad results, but you've got a much better chance of pulling off the shot that you want to see and want to actually envision if you're standing here confident you can play it. Now, if I've pulled a club here and I'm standing over the ball and I haven't got the confidence to play the shot, I'm going to change club. I'm going to go to a club that I can have that confidence with. Now, there are going to be times where you're not going to have the confidence to play the shot you know is the right shot to play, but sometimes the right shot to play is the one that you've got confidence in. So if, for example, I'm on the 18th here, I've got 2 choices. I can either attack the flag, try and get it up there as close as I can to the green, give myself a chance of a chip or a putt for eagle. Or if I've got a slightly off line, I'm not feeling that confident about pulling the fairway with, then I've got options to lay it up short of that and give myself a better shot in for the next one. But that's the choice I make. So thinking it through, thinking ahead, and really giving yourself those positive thoughts is number 2. So positive thoughts then lead on to my pre-shot routine. So they're all interconnected in those 2 elements. So I've picked my target line, I've done my rehearsal swing, I've got confidence of what I can see the shot doing, I'm going to set myself up and pull the trigger. So number 3, leading on from that thinking, we also need to know where our misses are. Okay, so which side I can and can't miss the hole on. So 18th here, I can really miss this left. Right is quite difficult. So that allows me to then go through my thinking, get that positive thinking going, and then get my pre-shot routine done. So really an order priority is looking at thinking, then that leads on to that awareness of where the misses are, and then that leads on to your pre-shot routine. But that's our first 3 in improving your scores without changing your technique. So I've allowed myself to have my miss, I've got a shot here that I can cope with and play forward, so I can see a confident shot I've got to go towards this flag. I've gone through my pre-shot routine, line myself up and let it go. Number 4, and for me the most important of all of these top 5 really, is acceptance. Okay, so you can go through the whole process of thinking correctly, judging where your misses are, going through your pre-shot routine, and even number 5, which we haven't got onto yet. They can all be perfect, but you need to have acceptance. We are only human at the end of the day. We are going to have bad shots. We're not looking at changing the technique here, so there could still be swing flaws, but it's accepting the result. Just because you've gone through this process does not guarantee that you are going to hit a perfect shot every time. And really, you've only got to look at the tour pros to see that level of acceptance in their games. These are the people who are practicing countless hours every day, preparing for a tournament, for a 3 or 4 day tournament, depending if they make the cut or not, and then they're still hitting bad shots. So if anyone's got a right to not have acceptance, it would be them, but they know that without acceptance they can't progress and perform the way they can. They are all accepting of bad shots. So even some of the best rounds that have ever been played have had errors involved within them. So there's no such thing as a perfect round. You can have a great mindset, you can have a great pre-shot routine, but once you've hit that ball is open to your elements, then you have to accept it. Okay, so it's hit it, find it, hit it again. Okay, don't get wrapped up in how a bad break or a bad bounce or a member's bounce or not a member's bounce got. You have to accept whatever you're dished out on the day. It is the same for everyone at the end of the day. So I've gone through my thinking, I've seen where my miss is, I've gone through my pre-shot routine, I've got myself ready to go. I've had all that level of commitment into those first 3 areas. And then once I hit my shot, it's then over to the elements. I've done everything I can to get this ball on the target that I've initially seen. Now I've just got to accept the results. Okay, so finally, number 5. So number 5 is equipment. Now, equipment comes in different categories. First and foremost is just the cleanliness of it. So clean grooves are really important if you want to get a consistent spin. So if we've got dirt or grass or anything in those grooves, that's going to affect how much each your clubs is going to get. So it's an important aspect just to keep the glue nice. Second is the golf ball. Actually having a consistency through the ball that you use will make a big difference on the scores you can play. Each ball has different characteristics and different reactions they're going to have on the green. So if you're used to a style of ball or a type of ball, stick with it. You don't have to keep chopping and changing. Certainly don't want to chop and change throughout a round. We want to stick to one type of ball so we can get used to how it reacts on each shot you play. And we can also then look at the actual clubs themselves. Most people, if they get a club off the shelf, which is getting less and less nowadays, which is great, custom fits are becoming far more popular than they ever have before, but getting the clubs fitted to you, even if it's just lie angle, will make a huge difference, especially on the wedges and the shorter irons with the higher lofts. The more loft we've got, the more important it's going to be to get that ball started on line. So when we've got that start line and really getting the lie angle correct, it's going to give you a much better chance of hitting the greens more often. So number 5 is equipment. So those are our 5 ways that we can improve your scores without changing your swing. I hope you enjoyed watching today's video, but for now, happy golfing, and we look forward to seeing you all really, really soon.